In progress.
Okay, this is a public meeting of the Wellfleet Selectboard, Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. Time is now 6:04 p.m. And as is customary, we will begin the meeting with public comments and announcements, which public comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker. The board will not deliberate or vote on any matter raised solely during announcements and public comments. With that, do we have any announcements from the board?
Just a reminder to everybody that tomorrow night is town meeting at 6 p.m. at the Wellfleet Elementary School. And as I've said before, we always appreciate everybody that comes out. So we look forward to seeing you there tomorrow night.
Okay, anyone else? Town administration?
No.
All right, in that case, I'll just add to what Ryan said. This is your voice, and it belongs to those who show up. So by all means, please come. You are our legislators. Okay, and with that, I will open the public comment to anyone in the room. Okay, hearing none. Let's see what we have. I don't see any hands raised online.
Right, no.
Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, in that case, we will now move on to the consent agenda. Oh, before we do the consent agenda, I'll take a motion to switch the
Mr. Chair, Mr. Kopitz has requested to give this presentation after the consent agenda. He's currently scheduled last, but he has a time commitment, so I wouldn't mind him going after the consent agenda.
Okay.
And so I move to adopt the consent agenda as drafted.
Before we do that, I would like for us to pull out the fall tax insert, please. I have a couple questions.
Okay. In that case, why don't we take Mr. Kopitz first, Mr. Chair?
Before the consent agenda?
Yeah, if there's going to be discussion of an item of the consent agenda.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Where's Mr. Kopitz? He was just here.
Mr. Kopitz?
Oh. All right, yeah, we can do that. Do we need a motion to?
Apparently you don't. I
Okay.
guess.
I think the consent of the board.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
And this is,
Must be on. It's on?
Thank you, Tomas. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
All right.
this is for the approval of the MBI grant submission, Cable and Internet and Cellular Service Advisory Committee. Mr. Kopitz.
Which is listed under business.
Business app.
Is business, yes. Thank you, everyone. So here my question is. Okay, everybody can see that?
Yes.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Select Board for having me here tonight and for promoting me in the agenda. Very much appreciated. Our discussion points tonight revolve around an MBI grant that has popped up on our radar, and which I'd like to inform the board and ask for approval for certain components. So with that, I'd like to move right on into it. If we can do a page down. There we go. So I'll give you just a brief fiber projects update because we have lots of contracts floating around, so I want to just clear that up, and then we'll talk about the MBI grant. So Beach Wi-Fi Phase 1 and 2, Phase 1 was up and operational this summer. Phase 2 will be installed most likely in March of 26. We have live contracts that extend to December. The March is just to save a little wear and tear on the Wi-Fi because we wouldn't have gotten the tower up before the end of summer. So to postpone it to Q1 or early Q2 next year, and it'll be installed then. Actually, and it turns out to be fortuitous for the rest of our agenda. So just how successful was Phase 1? In the month of August, we had 700 unique users at LeCount, 1,500 at Whitecrest, and 4,000 at Cahoon, which is pretty good. If we project this out to 2026 for the full summer, We're looking at 1,000 for LeCount, 3,000 for Whitecrest, 10,000 for Cahoon, and 4,000 for Newcomb, assuming we're up and running. So 18,000 for the year, which is, to my way of thinking, pretty darn good. So I think that's, to my mind, that's a big success. Newcomb will be installed in March, and so should be up and running for the summer. The second part of the Muni Fiber grant was a harbor fiber project to hook up the Harbor Master Sticker Shack and the rec building. Again, we've got a quote in hand for that. It's live. We have the funding, and that too will be installed in March 26, provisionally right now. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to discuss the MBI Massachusetts Digital Equity Plan grant proposal, which is in two parts, Harbor Wi-Fi and the 95 Lawrence hotspots. Just a little background on this. Chris Burt from County IT and David Stills and Steve Tupper from the Cape Cod Commission had applied to the MBI on behalf of Wellfleet for a grant, and that MBI funding was pulled, and then it was resurrected, and then MBI came back to us about 10 days ago and said, hey, would you like to reapply? The amount of money available to us is $85,000. The amount that we were looking for the harbor project loan was $45,000, so that left $40,000, and I said, hey, if you have $40,000, maybe we could do something with that. So the harbor project, we've discussed this here before, it's just Wi-Fi covering the harbor area. This is not the town center part of it, just the harbor part of it, that basically should give us blanket coverage from the sort of the Mayo Beach all the way through the marina down kind of to Uncle Tim's Bridge. So this is something we've been looking for a while. This complements the harbor fiber project, so this is a really nice complete project. We have quote spending, we have to revisit the Wi-Fi cost just because of those and the installation. So this has kind of gone live, but we know it's going to be in the 40-45 range roughly. Again, assuming the MBI awards us this grant, we can expect in March 2026. So all this stuff will get installed at the same time. Now, more interesting project here, a more complicated one, would be bringing free Wi-Fi to 95 Lawrence. The town has invested boatloads of money in this project. We know that a number of the lower income folks in Wellfleet go to the library to use the Wi-Fi there. So in essence, the notion here is we take the library and take it to the affordable housing project and do some Wi-Fi hotspots there, just the same thing as everything else like this building, and do it there, which is the easier said than done part, but that's the sentiment behind it. We know from the beach we have widespread usage. Since the beginning of the summer, our uptime has been more than 99.9%, so it's really operating flawlessly. And frankly, rather embarrassingly, the Wellfleet public Wi-Fi is faster than Xfinity wired service, at least in my house, by a margin. Okay, so we would do the same concept in 95 Lawrence, which is public hotspots covering that zone. Same level of service, the beaches, library, town hall in this building. And it would be complementary to Comcast retail offering. So that development will have Comcast available to it, as I understand, on ordinary commercial terms. And for those who want absolutely secure, you got it type service, there's Comcast. What the hotspot, the free public Wi-Fi is a layer on top of that for those people who can't afford it, for whom otherwise they go to the library and not have it. So it's doesn't give you the same level. It's not a reliance-based service. It's a best efforts-based service for those people who otherwise wouldn't have any service, okay? The MBI grant, we have a couple of quotes that slightly different things between 41 and 46,000. If you add up those two numbers, we're running a little hot compared to 85 grand. We're over some. We'll have to carve that down and figure out how to handle it. Again, this would be March 2026, which should be in time to be before people move in to the 95 Lawrence projects. We'd like to be up and running by then. This concept has some wrinkles to it, which I don't necessarily want to show the ankles tonight, but it has some wrinkles to it, and we're going to have to work through some of those. I don't think they're deal killers, but they are considerations, and we need to prepare those to a sufficient level to bring it to you that we can tell you in confidence we have everything covered. Here's what it would look like conceptually. If you can see that we'd have interior APs at the lower building. We'd have exterior APs covering the townhouses. It would be connected by a fiber optic cable going through a conduit in the basement of the lower building back to the fire station. It's actually as much to take it back to the fire station as to splice it into the existing line, so you might as well just run it back to the station. So that's really the concept here. It's not more complicated than that. We get very good coverage in the lower building, the lower village is called the apartment building, and probably very good coverage in some of the upper townhouses, but maybe not all in the back row. That's about what we could do with the budget we had. Yeah, and so what I'm here for really is to ask you to approve the harbor submission. We may have to tweak it here and there of how many counts and this and that, but essentially I think that's a complete proposal. It's in good shape. I think it's relatively well defined. And the second, I'd ask you to approve the Lawrence Road submission subject to a full project delineation and subsequent board approval. So we're not ready to, what I'm asking for is approval to proceed to develop the concept, not to approve the concept, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's all I got. Questions?
Yeah, well, there's a
Oh,
lot.
Well, the
Barbara?
It goes right down the line.
Yes, through the chair, and thank you, Steve, for this presentation, great work. I know you think it's premature, but could you?
Mike,
Oh,
a little
I'm
bit.
so sorry. Thank you, Steve, for your presentation. I know you think it's premature, but could you give us a hint of the issues that you referenced? You said there were considerations.
Right.
Just a hint,
This
perhaps.
is the, what's your greatest weakness question in the job interview, right?
You, so,
what is
through
So
the chair, you brought it up.
some of the issues that arise out of this, first of all, it's very important to understand there are very distinct limitations on what Wellfleet can do as a town. We cannot have contracts with individuals. We cannot provide service levels at midnight. This is just regular course of business, public Wi-Fi hotspots that IT and the town would operate just like it does in this building or the library or DPW. There's no special service here, right? We simply can't accommodate it institutionally. That's important to understand. So there are no contracts with the end users. There's no obligation to serve at any particular level. Now, having said that, you know, if there's no Wi-Fi there for 2 weeks, people might get a little ticked off, and you'll see it at the board meeting. So it's not a, you know, you can't just totally neglect it. But there's no promise of any given level of service. There will be some, MBI will require us to make certain representations. They're curiously quite interested in this model. This is a kind of a novel model for them, and it's very interesting because it's a replicable model if it works here. We do this at Maurice's too, by the way, if it works. But we'll have to make some representations to them. I'm not exactly sure what those are, because they don't want to give us 45 grand and then we say, yeah, we're going to turn it off, right? So there's going to be some level of representations. I don't know what it is, other than I can tell you that there will be some. I think there are some concerns about dependence of what are the political implications of people getting this? Is this an entitlement or a courtesy, right? And that's your bailiwick, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's certainly, you know, a consideration. And then finally, as with all hotspots, there are security issues. You know, you have open hotspots, you have them here, you have them at the beach, you have them at the library. We have those issues, but they're not necessarily qualitatively different than they would be at any other place in town. So those are some of the issues.
Thank you.
Josh?
Thank you, Mr. Kopitz, and thank you to the rest of the committee. You guys have just tremendous momentum, and I'm excited.
It's been crazy 10 days, I'll tell you that.
I can imagine. Going back to the harbor first, and then I have some questions on Lawrence Hill. Has anyone brought up any engineering concerns about going from commercial over Kendrick? My understanding is there's another business owner that maybe 10 years ago looked into doing this, and there was some issue. I think it had something to do with transporting of boats, and the wires might be too low. Has that been brought up at all?
So it's possible we may trench under Kendrick.
Okay.
And Open Cape would also like to trench under Kendrick, so maybe we might have Open Cape pay for us to trench under Kendrick.
Understood. Okay.
It has popped up in conversation.
Great. I figured it might have been. So trenching makes sense to me. And the grant we got from the fiber muni grant,
Yeah.
that only covered Newcomb, right? That did not cover the harbor?
It covers the harbor fiber, but not the Wi-Fi.
Not, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's excellent. Back to Lawrence Hill. Has POA Communities been involved in these conversations?
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
time.
I've gone extensively and spoken with Jamie Carroll quite a bit. I mean, he's very enthusiastic for it.
Sure.
It's also a model for them, right? So this is a model for Wellfleet, for MBI, and for POA. I'm not even sure what POA means, but because if,
Preservation of affordable
see, the
housing.
thing is, we're offering Wi-Fi, but we're not contractually offering it, right? We're doing this on a, like it's a hotspot, right? So this is an interesting model. It's in some ways a less formal model, but it's something that both Wellfleet can do and other towns can do. So it's actually quite difficult to give free Wi-Fi to an affordable housing project, right? Because if you're going to contract with people, you have to have a retail arm. Well, Open Cape can't do that. They don't have a retail arm. And you have to have service levels. Well, no town can offer service levels like a Comcast or a Verizon. You know, we just don't have we don't have someone who's going to run out at 3 a.m. to replace Wi-Fi units. So this is an interesting model because in a sense it is not a replacement for Comcast. It's a complement to Comcast. So they're very interested in this model. Jamie's been very supportive. MBI is very interested in this model. So there's definitely, you know, it's not without wrinkles, but it's a really interesting model, and I think there's a lot of interest from the stakeholders in trying it out.
And Mr. Chair, through you, one more question, and it's more just a comment, something down the road, and hopefully we do get this grant. But we may, because most municipal Wi-Fi tends to be transient in use, as opposed to being kind of blanketing a residence
Yeah.
where someone can use it for an extended period of time. We may just need to install some safeguards that no one creates, you know, a torrent farm or is crypto mining from it, essentially using an exceptional amount of bandwidth because they have, you know, a static machine that can just pull off municipal Wi-Fi. These are challenges that we'll address in the future, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I think one of the things with MBI is that, not with both MBI and POA, is going to be conditions of provision of service to them. In other words, that the town retains the right, if there's cause, right, some sort of serious cause, that the town retains the right to curtail provision of service.
Oh, no, certainly.
So-
More so that, you know, Mr. Bird, who, you know, is a tremendous, you know, resource of the town at the county level, might be able to impose some form of IP limitation so that, you know, no one can exceed, you know, 100 gigabytes a day of data downloads. So that's an arbitrary number. I don't know what that would be.
You know, the thing is, it's interesting, it's countercyclical to the town. So the town is going to be using municipal Wi-Fi as a daytime activity, and this is countercyclical to that. I don't think there are going to be bandwidth issues, but I take your point that one of the concerns is that that service not be abused.
Sure.
It'll be an issue that we have to address.
Tom, you had your hand up?
Actually, Mr. Yeston asked the question relative to POA, so I thank him.
Brian, sure.
I have a couple. So first is the beach Wi-Fi, just because this is a first update we've seen. I'd be interested in the numbers throughout the year. So if you can send us regular reports of users, I think that would be interesting. I always say, you know, that there's other things that go on at the beach and that happen outside of, you know, the peak summer season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. This is county IT, and county IT answers to Tom and the administration. So whatever you guys want, Chris Burt can gin that up for you.
Yeah, it
I
could
mean, I
be
can
like
get it from Chris too, but
a quarterly report by month to month. It would be interesting to see.
yeah, I got to tell you, I was shocked at the usage numbers, the individual uses, unique use, because we put it up there. There are no signs or anything.
Right.
And it's used.
Well, everybody brings their phone
Yeah.
and then they go, oh, I can do this, you know, then.
I mean, we might want to put up a sign in the future. You know, one of the things is to try to provide a means to access emergency services if necessary. And so, you know, making sure that people know how to connect to it does serve a public safety component.
Yep.
And then the 95 Lawrence Road,
Oh, that was me, I'm sorry.
95 Lawrence Road. I know it's probably not in the budget, but can it be designed in such a way that it can accommodate future exterior access points, particularly that could provide some coverage to the school area as well?
Sure. We have boatloads of fiber going through there. There's town fiber, there's beach fiber, and now there will be also development 95 Lawrence fiber. So there's more fiber than your basic package of granola. And so we can do that. It's a cost issue. There's also, we might want to improve the service at the upper village over time. Because they're
Yeah, there's just the two.
road's not going to have direct
There's
line
two,
of sight
yeah.
to that receiver. So yeah, and we can, yeah, absolutely, we can do it. That's just it's a cost issue, and yeah, there are more grants out there that we can mine over time. We've got a pretty good track record right now, not good.
Yeah, I mean, if you do a future, expansion of the access points to cover Lawrence Hill a little bit better, it'd be good also to try to cover the school at the same time.
Yeah, can be done, not particularly difficult.
So otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad to see this.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Or comments? I'm ready for a motion then.
So, Mr.
I think we need two motions, right? Two
Yes,
separate
one
ones.
is for one and one's for the other.
Sure. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to
Oh.
move.
Yeah, it's business.
Yeah, well, we'll open this up. I don't think it's going to generate a lot of additional questions.
Tim, sir. Thanks for all your hard work. My question is, Gestalt Center, are you involved in anything with that? Where do we stand with that? I mean, $40,000 might help us get, because we have a conference room there that currently we can't use for meetings like this and everything.
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that, if I could, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chairman. Not just the Wi-Fi, but we have to do some work on the accessibility ramp. It's a brick ramp that goes up the side of the building, and the drop is too far.
Mike, Tom.
You might-
Oh,
Right.
yeah, there's that issue, and then there's the handicap access issue. The ramp that goes up the side of the building that leads to the meeting room or to the front door. As you go up that ramp, the fall gets too far, and we've got to figure out a railing system for that.
Okay. And then one other, if I may. I'm not going to get real technical, but you're adding more and more and more connections to this. And there is a finite point eventually. I realize they're not all touching it at one time, but it's going in and out. Well, we have to upgrade any of the equipment at the firehouse to cover the school and the Lawrence Hill and the marina and all of the boats that are down there that will probably be also using it if it's, publicly available.
Yeah, so last year, we upgraded the firewall in the firehouse, which is a $12,000 piece of kit,
Right.
to put through more capacity. So as I understand it, and I've talked to Chris Burt from County IT, this is not my area of expertise, but he hasn't flagged any capacity issues. There's not a lot of capacity coming off this. You're going to have maybe 60, 70 users in the affordable housing development. In the harbor, that'll go up and down. There's all kinds of stuff going in the summer, and then winter won't be too much. Nobody has flagged any issues for me.
Okay.
The big draws in the harbor are going to be cameras. There's a bunch of cameras down there,
Yes.
and that's going to be no, I think to the best of my knowledge, all our hardware is adequate
So
for
far.
everything we need, yeah, best of my
Okay.
knowledge.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me.
Sure. Since I did open it up, I'll just see if there's any hands raised. She does.
She's an attendee.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and, Helen, go ahead and unmute.
She's good.
There you go.
Yeah, this is Helen Wilson, who lives in the north of Wellfleet, and Mr. Coppets used a term that I was unfamiliar with, even though I've lived here my whole life. He referred to the upper village. Where is that? according to Mr. Coppets?
Yeah, let me see if I can get you. The Upper Village is part of the 95 Lawrence development. So if you look on that, the townhouses are referred to as the Upper Village, and the apartment building is the Lower Village.
Oh, I see.
I see, okay, I thought you were, I see, right, okay, thank you. It's not just the north of Wellfleet, and you weren't.
No, it's a, no.
Okay, thank you.
It's a term within the project. I live in the Upper Village.
Okay, thank you, Helen. Barbara?
Yeah, so if we're done with discussion, I will make a motion, but I just want to clarify something. The motion in the meeting packet refers to funding for the town center project and the 95 Lawrence Hill project. Shouldn't it say harbor project?
Yeah, the town center project, as it was originally, comprised both of those, right? And
But
this
it
is just a harbor
looks
component of the
like-
town center project, so.
Okay, so if the motion said harbor project and 95 Lawrence housing project,
That would be more
capture
accurate.
everything?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the grant submission to the Massachusetts Broadband Institute in the sum of $85,000 to provide funding for the harbor project and the 95 Lawrence Hill housing project.
Second,
Roll call vote?
Barbara, aye.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks a
for all
lot,
that
guys. I
work.
appreciate the early.
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. I hope you manage it.
And now we'll return to the consent agenda. You wanted to remove the tax item.
Please.
So then, I move to adopt the consent agenda as drafted with the exception of the fall tax insert.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Sorry,
You can go.
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. Josh, you had something you wanted to bring up about the tax.
Item B.
Yeah, I do too.
I had a question to our housing coordinator, if she's online.
She is, and I just asked her to unmute. She's good.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Sorry, I'm in the car.
No worries. Quick question. I see that we have a new URL, wellfleetma.gov/short-term rentals. I tried to access that and it sent me to an error page. Are we just assuming?
It's not live yet.
Copy that. That was my
We haven't
question.
approved it.
I have a different one. So if we're going to establish a short-term rental registry that includes a fee, you can't charge the fee after the fact of obtaining the registration, I don't believe. Because people,
You certainly wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
so if we were to, have one and that would apply to the coming basically as part of next summer, and we wanted to collect a fee for it, we would want to set that before this would go out and the rental registries were done. So
Does Ian have it?
I'm not really sure the best way, because I know the fall tax insert, basically the taxes go out very soon. After we set the tax rate at the, tax classification hearing, I would expect shortly thereafter. But I don't know. I'm not sure the best way to do it, if the intent of the board is to also try to charge a fee for the rental registries for the first year.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to see what Ann, if she has a comment on that.
Yeah, Ann, do you have a comment for that?
Yeah, I do. I know we had spoken about this before. Majority of the towns charge a rental registration fee for short-term rentals, anywhere from $50 to $750 in P-Town.
Yep.
Most also do separate out an additional inspection fee, which ranges from 30 to 100. There's a lot of flexibility in this. When I talked with Tom before, when he first asked me to look into it, I did some, ideas around $250, $500 for initial registration. And it's not that exorbitant. When you look at some of the stats of what, say, average 2 bedrooms make in a summer, it's close to $14,000 if they rent out. So the question to the board would be, I could run some numbers to share, for your next meeting. Since the tax insert, Leisha McKenna has been great. She's the one who, when I met with her, told me that, we need to get a registration form up. We're late. It should have been done in July. She's creating the form. She's just going off forms that, like Town of Harwich uses OpenGov, and so does Orleans. So she and Justin and I are going to meet on Thursday to kind of look at the questions. And in that, we can leave an open spot for at the bottom about what the rental fee will be. So we probably have, between the tax insert going out and people actually receiving it and going online, a little bit of time, not a lot. But I just would want to know what we need to cover the administrative costs of this first year. And the way we've talked about it is like, I would probably be the person who would be looking at the first pass, kind of tracking how much time it took. Once they're verified, then sending them to either the Board of Health or the Fire Department, depending on not Board of Health, the Building Department, to schedule inspections. And the Fire Department might also be involved. That's TBD. So I think everyone's doing it. Everyone knows there's a cost associated with it, not only from an administrative perspective, but inspections and then any other support we're going to give. Some towns have hotlines now that you can call into. Barnstable has it. I think Chatham does. Provincetown does. It's really just circumventing calls to the police, honestly. I don't know if that's something we want to get into.
Josh?
It sounds like this probably deserves its own agenda item on a future meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is through you, Mr.
No.
Chair, to Mr. Curley, is your concern if we don't establish a fee before we have people register, then we're going to miss?
You have to, when you charge a fee, it has to be a fee certain.
Yep.
You can't charge a fee after the fact.
So would that preclude us from? So let me rephrase that. It wouldn't preclude us from charging a fee the following year. You're just saying we wouldn't be able to capture it for this year's cycle.
Probably, I don't know, Barbara?
No, I'm sorry, please.
Yep. Go ahead.
We have to figure out a way to capture it this year, and I'm sure we can.
So a way around this is if we miss the fall tax insert, which honestly not everybody reads because a lot of them have their rules that they have their bankers pay it automatically. The way around it is to use the short-term rental registry from the state. For Wellfleet, there's over 1,000 that are registered, so they're not available publicly, but you can request them through the DOR. I don't know, it's another DOR website thing. They don't go up to 1,000, but if it's under 1,000, you can see everything. So you can get that list of registrations, who they're for, the properties associated with it, and then we can send out a mailing to them. After we've determined what the fees are, and capture it that way. I think, at least the benefit outweighs the negative in that case. It will involve a little bit of an additional expense. We could also send it certified mail as well, so there would be a record of if they've received it or not, which might come into play if we start trying to do enforcement. But, yeah.
Ryan, can I say something?
Oh, yeah, let me just ask a question here. I'm assuming that any fees associated with this are going to have to be the subject of a public hearing by the select board. I see a hand raised out here, and I don't want to take public comment on this just now, but down the road, before we set fees, I think we're going to have to.
I know we usually do hold hearings for fee setting, and certainly we want public input, and if it's formalized as a hearing, that's fine, but I think maybe we could ask housing coordinator and administration just to work on all of these and figure out what is the best way to reach people, how soon could we get a hearing?
Yeah.
And a proposal, and have the discussion then. I mean, I would just comment, running rental registration is a big job.
Mm-hmm.
The housing coordinator in Truro does that. It's a big part of her job, so I am very comfortable with taking that into consideration when we set the fees at the hearing.
Yep.
But
Ann had
Yeah. Ann?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say to Ryan's point about the DOR, I got the list. They sent it to me, but it's missing street numbers. It's a privacy issue. They won't give you any other information than the road. So we can't use that to be able to ascertain who is registered. They won't release that information. So that's why we were thinking of more blanket and also to people who might be considering renting, who maybe haven't done it before. Maybe this will discourage them.
Sheila?
So I think my question would be, what other people might ask is, I rent my house just 2 weeks out of the year. I like to do it the last 2 weeks. That little bit of extra income just does it for me. And the standard fee is $500, especially for people renting for the whole summer. Do I pay the same fee?
I mean, that's all going to be subject to
That's going to be a subject
future
to, okay.
conversation.
I'm just wondering, because I think that would deter people from doing it, but if it was like $50 and then they just had to pay their tax, that wouldn't be a bad thing. But I'm just trying to think of what would be the other questions that would come up, because I do know one person in my neighborhood that just rents the last 3 weeks of August, and, that's just good for her. So that'd be something, I wouldn't want her to not register for that,
The list used to include does it include the agent for it? It used to include the agent.
Ann?
Ann?
The agent in terms of what? On the listing, I didn't see anything saying an agent. It just had a bunch of unique numbers, and then it just would say like day road, day road, day road, day road, day road.
Oh, so they don't give a name.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, I'm at a hockey parking lot right now, but I can do it tomorrow.
I'm not going to read it tonight.
Curl up and read it tonight. It'll put you to sleep.
Yeah, I've found individual ones on there previously.
I haven't looked
Yeah.
at the lists.
Barbara?
Yeah, so maybe we could, I ask and the town administration to just aim for the tax bill, an insert of some kind, because I think that is the best way to reach everybody. I just don't know if we'll be able to decipher a DOR list or not, and just ask them to put together, a proposal and set up a hearing, and we'll discuss the rest of it then. But I endorse the idea of the tax bills.
I do too.
Another one would be to send a certified mail to every property owner that includes our residents. Something along that line. And then you cover the ones that, might not have been registered previously. But at least for the fall tax insert, something that we could try to do is use it to start at least building a list. And be like, I don't know, that the town is looking to start a short-term rental registry. Please provide your contact information so we can contact you after we've figured out kind of what we want to do. It's not the cleanest, but if the issue is it's going to be kind of tricky to capture everybody, if we can start building a list that way initially, it would, and then you can follow up with them after we've decided what we want to do.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, do you want a motion, or do we feel like we've given the,
We've got it.
okay, so no motion then, but we'll hope to have a proposal soon.
There's a second insert that's regarding to housing. It just didn't make it into the packet, but I
What's-
believe we can approve it tonight.
What is it?
It's for the Affordable Housing Trust. I just didn't make it into the packet. It was by no fault of anyone. It was a miscommunication. But I think Rebecca has it to show.
But it's not on tonight's agenda.
It has to do with housing, so it's the
Right.
same thing, it's a match, so it just, it's on the screen for you.
Oh, I see, donate.
So that would go out with the tax bills,
That's right, if the board approves it.
okay?
Sure.
Oh, well, that would be a separate motion then.
That would be a separate motion, but okay.
Yeah, so
So we're going to say to Ann to go forward, correct? Is that, but we don't have to
This
take a
one, I
vote
don't
on
know
that.
what we wanna do.
On the other one, Ann and I are going to get together and figure it out.
All right,
come
and then
to the
come
board.
back and have an official
Yes.
vote. Okay,
And
Yes.
This one, we
All
just
right.
need an okay or not okay by the board.
So
Yes.
I move to approve the Wellfleet Affordable Housing Trust tax insert for the fall tax bill.
second.
Roll call vote?
Ryan, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
John, aye. Passes 5-0.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Ann.
you,
Good
Ann.
luck at the game.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah, good luck. Hope they win.
Okay, thank you, Ann. Now I move to open the public hearing on Verizon New England and NStar Energy to review and approve the petition to lay and maintain underground conduits and manholes at HH3A Hopkins Drive, continued from September 16th. And who do we have to?
Lila Lucia?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I know the three items on the agenda from Verizon are the three that were continued from the 16th of September over concern for the potential overlap with the town's Herring River restoration project. So I do have some information to relay from the Verizon engineer, which I also forwarded to Jay Norton, the Department of Public Works Director. I'm not sure if he's there tonight.
I think he is on.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he's got his hand up.
Perfect. Yes, so this is the same information I sent over to Jay. I'll just go right through it. For the first petition from HH5 Hopkins Drive to HH1X Way 672, I was told by the Verizon engineer that this conduit and the handholds are being built by the town of Wellfleet, and that the petition is for Verizon to access this pre-placed conduit pathway and handholds to place their fiber network equipment. So should not have any overlap with the Herring River project. This second location on Hopkins Drive, HH3 to HH3A Hopkins Drive. This is also a street that will not have any effect from the Herring River project. I do not believe it overlaps there. And the third location on Bound Brook Island Road, this will be a street that will have the road raised, but the conduit will be a minimum of 24 inches below grade. So when the town does raise the road there, it should have no effect on the conduit. And I was also told that these fiber projects are expected to be completed by the end of 2026, which, to my understanding, is well before the Herring River project is set to be completed. So this will be completed on Bound Brook Island Road before there's any Herring River work being done there. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions, but I wanted to relay that information over.
Okay. Do we need Jay to weigh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, just, I would ask Jay.
Yeah, Jay, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jay Norton, DPW Director, for the record. I just wanted to mention that I did review the plans, and I know there was coordination behind the scenes from Verizon on this, so I don't have any issues going forward. So I do recommend that the board approve these tonight.
All right. As this is a public hearing, do we have anyone in the room who would like to speak to this? Seeing none, do we have anybody online?
No.
I don't see anybody either. In that case, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Barbara, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Public hearing is now closed, and does the board have any further questions, or otherwise I'm ready for a motion?
We have three different motions, I
Yeah,
think.
so through the chair, or to the chair, these are three separate applications.
Yep.
So were we just, we heard information on all three of them, but I think we probably have to do them one at a time, is my suggestion. So,
One of them's not related to the Herring River.
yeah, so I think the first one on the list was HH3 to HH3A Hopkins Drive. Does anyone disagree?
Nope.
So then I would say that's the public hearing that we just closed. So now I move to approve Verizon New England, Inc. and N-Star Energy to place one jointly owned 2-inch conduit beginning at HH3 near 200 Hopkins Drive, running north along the east side of Hopkins Drive.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 5-0. I'll now open the public hearing on Public Hearing B. Verizon New England Incorporated and N-Star Electric, doing business as Eversource, to approve the request to place one jointly owned 4-inch conduit beginning at HH5 between 240 Hopkins Drive and 260 Hopkins Drive, also continued from September 16th of this year.
Second.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry.
well,
Oh, this is to
I'm
open.
just opening it.
Yes.
Again,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just see if there's any public.
There's no public comment.
Lila, do you have anything to speak to on this?
No, I think she already
Oh.
gave us the info.
Yes, I think this was covered from before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
so Jay's okay with this?
Yes, he said all of
Oh,
those
okay.
projects he's fine with.
All right, then I'm ready for, well, it's a public hearing. Anyone in the room? Seeing none. I see nobody online with their hand up. Oh, yes, I do. There's one person, Christine Odiaga. Christine, do you want to unmute?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to comment that there will be work in these areas where the Verizon representative commented there would not be on Hopkins Drive.
Jay, can you speak to this?
That's what she could speak to. Or
Yeah, I can speak to that, Mr. Chair.
What's that, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, the project will commence before the end of 2026, so I don't know exactly how the overlap will occur, but we'll have to work with Verizon on that, depending on where we begin the project. But the project won't be finished by the end of 2026, but it will commence before that. So we are aware of that.
And you don't envision any issues arising from this installation?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
if there's no further comment?
Well, we'll have to close the, I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay. I'd like to move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Okay, the public hearing is now closed, and unless there's further discussion, I'll
Mr. Chair, I'd
take a
like to
motion.
approve Verizon New England and Eversource Energy request to place one jointly, am I saying the right one?
Yep.
Yep. Jointly owned 4-inch conduit beginning at HH5 between 240 Hopkins Drive and 260 Hopkins Drive, running northward towards HH1, turning west on at HH1, running west underneath Hopkins Drive.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Again, this item passes 5-0. Public hearing C, I've got a notation on here that says item withdrawn.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would suggest we do item D, because it was one of the three that
She just spoke to.
that was discussed earlier, and that Jay
Oh,
says
okay.
he doesn't have an issue with, and then deal with C afterwards.
All right. I'm now opening the public hearing on public hearing item D. Verizon New England and NSTAR DBA Eversource to approve the petition for a conduit on Bound Brook Island Road, continued from September 16th of this year.
So moved.
Um,
Need a second.
No, not to open it.
No, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I think forgetting that.
I'm assuming that this is covered by what?
Yes.
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 Yep.
Okay, so anyone in the room have a comment on this? I see no hands raised. No hands raised. I will take that to mean no comment, so I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing D.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. And unless there's further discussion on the board, I'll take a motion on the item.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the petition for a 2-inch conduit beginning at existing utility pole 6 on Payamet Point Road and running southwest underground to the pedestal 1BB, running southwest to pedestal 3BB-1 near 189 Bound Brook Island Road.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Barbara, aye.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Okay, item D passes 5-0.
And item C has
Then-
been
It looks-
withdrawn.
Yeah, it looks like this has been withdrawn, so
We don't have any action to take.
We have no action.
Okay, in that case, we are
Done with
done with the public hearings, and we're on to business item A. Herring River Project to approve the grant agreement by and between the town and Tequesset Yacht and Country Club. Carol, are you on with us?
Good evening, members of the Select Board. Carol Ridley, Project Coordinator. I believe Matthew Fair, Town Council, is also here. And Matt, did you want to open this one up?
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to do so. Mr. Chairman, through the members. So before you tonight is a subrecipient grant agreement between the club and the town and its trustees to provide, as we've done before with the Friends of Herring River, a structure that's akin to like a CPA grant or things of that nature to pass through funds essentially from the federal government and state government toward mitigation required at the project site on the commercial property owned by the club. So I believe in conversations I've had with Tom and Jay, you've been apprised of some developments throughout this process. As you well know, this process has been ongoing for a few years. And, you know, happy to answer questions as we go along, but I just wanted to walk through the grant agreement that we have before you tonight for your review and approval. Before I get into that, I will say that it's been a true partnership between the club and the town Michael Leon, I believe, is on the call. He's counsel to the club. We've worked through several issues, and we are at the point where now this form of agreement that's before you tonight for approval in consideration has been approved by the federal and state funders, including most recently DFG. And I believe the club took a vote yesterday to approve by their board this same form of agreement. The motion before you, which I helped prepare and certainly is just a suggested form of motion, would grant or basically approve the form of agreement presented substantially at this meeting, subject to any changes deemed necessary by the town administrator in consultation with council. And of course, that's up to you, but I know we've done that in prior occasions. Again, this agreement is structured much like a CPA grant or other type of subrecipient grant agreements, which are exempt under state law, although in this case, it's unique in that this is required mitigation associated with the public project. So this has always been structured to hold the town harmless from mitigation financial commitments through using grant agreements that are eligible for these costs. This agreement was generated by our office some time ago, probably about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, has been negotiated fairly comprehensively by many of the people here tonight. And I want to first thank the club, their counsel, Carol and her folks, and others, of course, Tom and Jay as staff, having worked with us to get to this point. I'll just walk through the key components of the grant agreement for your consideration. Obviously, I'm assuming safely, maybe too safely, that you've had a chance to look at this, although, like was said before, it's one of those things that puts you to sleep probably reading a contract. Although, Barbara, it's good to see you. It's been a while. As I walk through this with you, I just want to make clear that this agreement is structured to basically provide, as we've done with the Friends, very similarly, which was approved previously by the same board, to provide an amount of grant funds eligible for mitigation in this case for this project, associated with the project we're undertaking, the Low-Lying Roads project, up to $6.815 million to mitigate impacts associated with the Low-Lying Roads project at the club, to ensure that the property achieves a minimum elevation of 6.7 feet. And that's the regulatory requirement for mitigation in this case. It's all eligible expenses for which the grants are available, which is made clear in the recitals. And that is primarily the purpose of this agreement. This is required mitigation, a public purpose, if you will. As you will see, if you go through the agreement in item 2, that kind of specifies the amounts of funding pursuant to each grant, both state and federal, that are available to toward this work as mitigation work. The town is under no obligation to seek or provide additional funding to the work. To the extent that grants are not available, as everyone knows, there's a lot going on in Washington and otherwise with respect to grants. We have no obligation or liability associated with a lack of funding or deficiency in funding, which is elsewhere in the agreement. As a condition to receiving the funding for the mitigation work, there's a few items in paragraph 3 that I call to your attention. There's a time frame associated with this, as may be adjusted by the parties by July 30th, 2026. There's an inspection license that will be granted to provide the town the ability to obtain access to the club property for the purposes of inspecting work to ensure that it's being undertaken in conformance with the grant. And there is a form of license agreement that's attached as an exhibit, which we negotiated with the club. That's in the packet. Another condition is that the work will be undertaken in accordance with the grant terms and conditions themselves, as well as all federal, state, local applicable laws and regulations. All the work will be subject to prevailing wage, of course, and that we're receiving federal and state funding to undertake the work. And again, these are just highlights of some of the salient points, I guess, if you will. The town will be named on all work undertaken by the club for which they're receiving funds as an additional insured and co-indemnity on all contracts for performance thereof. So that we fully protect the town from any liabilities. And we'll get to that in greater detail as I go along, in that the contract itself here before you addresses liability issues. The payment, of course, again, is up to 100% of the grant amount of $6.815 million. And that includes the provision and value of fill material for the work, which is described in Exhibit E, which I know Jay and Carol and others have approved for the town's consideration tonight in reviewing all the data to date from TRC and otherwise. The disbursement will be on a requisition basis, just like we do in most cases, like we're doing with the Friends, but in many other cases, including any construction contracts generally that the town is party to. It will be on at least a monthly requisition process where they'll provide on a specified form of requisition, which is also included as an attachment to the agreement that I know Jay has approved, which is akin to much of the same forms you've used in prior occasions. And that will serve as, among other things called out for in the agreement, to supplement that information considered by the town prior to releasing funds. A couple of key other items I point out is that the prior to final payment, the club will be required to provide the town with stamped survey plans and as well as an encumbrance of the land to ensure that the 6.7 feet percent or foot elevation increases, carries forth with the land, and that prior to 100% payment, those two items are achieved, both the stamp plans and a record of the encumbrance, which is in item 14, which we'll get to in a second. The club that will be providing written progress reports and convene periodic progress meetings with the town, no less than monthly. They will also keep all records in accordance with the terms of the agreement in order for us to undertake what we need to do to ensure compliance with the grants, among other reasons. There are certain other remedies at law and contract preserved throughout the agreement. The liability of the town, again, just to hone in on that, is in paragraph 12. The town's sole obligation is to make payments to the club as provided for in the agreement, that we bear no liability for any losses, claims, damages arising as a result of a lack in grant funds or a portion of the grant funds that are not made available to the town there pursuant to the terms of the grants themselves. The town is protected by the club in that they will indemnify, defend, and hold the town harmless from any and all claims arising as a result of their breach of the agreement. So breach being things like failure to comply with the terms of the grant, failure to comply with terms of applicable law, and otherwise fulfill their obligations under the agreement. Of course, personal and property damages and injuries, work quality, performance of the work, negligence, and the like. The only obligation besides making payment pursuant to the terms of the agreement would be on the part of as far as the town's concerned, would be to indemnify the club from any claims and liabilities associated with our inspectional license. And we negotiated as part of that because, of course, we would never advise that the town undertake an indemnification obligation that subjects them to an unlimited liability under constitutional and state law principles. We were able to negotiate a cap under the Tort Claims Act, Chapter 258 of the general laws. So essentially, we're subject to a capped indemnification amount as it relates to any and all claims that arise as a result of our inspectional license. When we access their property, if we cause injury to their property or someone on their property, then that would be invoked potentially, but again, subject to a cap under state law. The last thing I'd highlight again, and I alluded to this earlier, was the land encumbrance. That's provided for in paragraph 14 of the agreement before you. And this was something pushed by the funders, particularly state funders. And we were able to, this was heavily negotiated, but I believe we were at a point where DFG particularly is okay. We will require that the club record an encumbrance by July 31st, 2026, which coincides again with the work that they're undertaking, the mitigation work for which they're receiving grant funds. to record an encumbrance that would require the maintenance of the elevation of 6.7 feet, which is, again, the requisite mitigation work at the commercial property pursuant to the terms of the grant and eligible for receipt of funding. And that, again, as I alluded to earlier, aside from the survey plans being provided, stamp plans being provided, would have to occur recorded on record with the registry on or before final payment. So that's the other piece of this that was worked through with DFG most recently. Otherwise, it's boilerplate. I think it speaks for itself. It's, again, very similar to what we've negotiated with the Friends in some respects, a little different in this case because this is a different type of work product that we're funding. But we feel very comfortable recommending to the board approval of this form of agreement. It's been heavily negotiated. We've gone through several rounds of discussion with the state and federal government, and to date, everyone feels comfortable with the form as presented tonight. And I know Michael Leon's on the call. If he wants to jump in and speak to anything I had to say, happy to entertain that and any questions you may have. And Carol, if you want to jump in as well.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Josh.
No, does the attorney?
Well, I would like to hear from either Mr. Dion or Ms. Ridley.
This is Michael Leon. I'm not sure that you can't see me, but I think you can hear me. I greatly appreciate all of the work that the town of Wellfleet has put into this, and Mr. Garino and Mr. Farrer, who have done a phenomenal job in making this a successful effort to try to line up all the financing in a very complicated project, both from a regulatory standpoint and a financial standpoint. And so on behalf of the club, I really want to appreciate all of the hard work over several years that has been put into making this a successful project. And the club is very, very grateful for the availability of these funds to mitigate the effects of an important ecological restoration project. So thank you, and hope that you appreciate the fact that we believe that we're partners with the town in making this a very successful environmental and civic benefit for the town.
All right. Carol?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just echo thanks to Matt and Michael and all the folks at the club, and of course our technical team who've all worked very hard on this agreement. And stressing that we've, kept our state and federal funding partners up to date and apprised of this so that they are fully aware and supportive of its contents. And as Matt alluded to, there was most recently the review and sign off by the Department of Fish and Game, one of the 3 funding partners. So I think Matt did an excellent job giving you an outline of the agreement and its terms. I'm happy to fill any project-related questions you may have, but really want to focus this as time for you to review and understand and discuss the contents.
Josh?
Thank you so much. Attorney Farrer, you answered my question twice already, but I just want to ask it a third time to be just exceptionally sure.
Third time's a charm, right?
I appreciate it. Thank you. In the event that one of our grant funders is unable to satisfy the grant, we don't get the money. We are not liable in any sense of the term?
Correct. And the specific language I would think to look at is under section 2, the last sentence before sub A, town's under no obligation to seek or provide additional funds to the grantee from any source. And then there's another provision elsewhere that speaks directly to under paragraph 12, last sentence, without limiting the foregoing, the town shall bear no liability for any losses, claims, or damages arising in the event that the grant funds, capital GF, which is the 3 combined, or any portion thereof not made available to the town hereunder. So in my opinion, you're fully protected from those liabilities to the extent that you are not in receipt of funds or a portion thereof and cannot pass that through to the club for the purpose of the mitigation work.
Thank you for answering my question for a third time.
You're welcome.
Ryan?
So I have a question. It's not necessarily something I'm looking for in the contract, but is there any thought of putting up signage about the work, like an interpretive sign or plaque somewhere on the club?
I'll let the club answer that question. I mean, that would be
if they were willing. So
to say how wonderful our partnership has been. I would
Yeah,
strongly
I know,
recommend
it's
that
kinda
Michael
crazy.
Leon advise
Yes,
his client to
I-
do so.
I'm happy to say that. Yeah, on behalf of the club, and I know that Bear McLaughlin is also on this call this evening, the meeting this evening, but I can assure you that the club is more than happy to demonstrate its gratefulness for the availability of the funding through the state and federal funders to be able to make the public aware of the fact that this mitigation project was supported by the town of Wellfleet. And we really do appreciate it. The town is not only providing, working as a conduit for the state and federal funding, but also the town was very instrumental in providing support and actually acting on environmental permitting and approval necessary for the project to go forward.
Yeah, because it'd be interesting, like hole 9, have a little sign. You've reached the end of the golf course.
Yeah, this tee sponsored by, yeah.
All right.
This is the story
Well,
that
I
you
will
just
let
undertook.
the club board of governors and the general manager decide whether or not there should be a commemorative plaque on some tee box and the low holes. That's
As
right.
long as the 19th hole isn't on the town, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank
Barry,
you.
I see Mr. McLaughlin's got his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Curley, thank you for your idea. I will share that back to the Board of Governors and ask them to consider that. It's a great idea. It would certainly, it would be in the club's best interest to let everybody know our great appreciation for all the hard work by all parties, in particular the town and the town representatives and the funders. So I think we could come up with a creative model that would represent that. So I will definitely take that back to the board.
Well, thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Okay,
Sheila?
with that, no, I'm ready to make a motion if we're all ready. Now
Anyone
that,
else?
we've
I'm
weaseled
ready.
in our,
So we still got some-
advertising of our greatness. Okay, we all set?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to approve that the select board approves the grant by and between the town, Chequesset Yacht Club, the town of Wellfleet, Chequesset Yacht Club, and Country Clubs, Inc., and Gary Carter, Eleanor Livingston, Alan Oxman, trustees of the Chequesset Yacht and Country Club Trust, in substantially the form reviewing at this meeting, and further authorizes the town administrator to execute and deliver said agreement on behalf of the town and to make any further revisions as deemed necessary, consistent therewith and in consultation with town council.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 4-0 with one recusal.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
with your permission, please, I think that Michael and Matt and Carol have sold themselves short on the amount of work that it took to get this agreement over the line.
I am sure.
The club was very helpful, and I also, this goes on before my tenure. Jay Norton has been absolutely outstanding on this project all the way through.
Great.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could, through you to the board, I would like to echo the sentiment. I mean, Tom and Jay have been instrumental throughout this process, as well as the staff and team, Carol, Michael, the club representatives. I just want to echo to Tom and Jay the same sentiment, because they've been instrumental throughout this process, and very happy to see the fruit of the labor, so to speak. They've been absolutely stellar and have done the town, in my opinion, a great service.
Great. Nice.
Thank you.
Great. Item B.
All right, now we're moving on to business item B with Ms. Ridley and the Herring River Restoration Project to accept and approve Amendment 4 to the Massachusetts Department of Environmental,
Is it environmental?
DER.
Department of Environmental Regulation.
Right.
Restoration.
Restoration.
Restoration. It's ecological restoration.
I can't always keep track of,
Yes, the Division of Ecological Restoration.
I can't always keep track of my acronyms.
It is stated 3 or 4 times within this grant. I did have to look it up myself, but it
But
is
anyway-
good to spell out those acronyms for everyone.
To accept and approve the amendment for the Mass Department of Environmental Regulation, or Restoration, grant to Department of Ecological Restoration.
There we go.
Grant to the town of Wellfleet for the town of, for the Herring River Restoration Project. With that, I will ask Carol to introduce this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Happy to. And hopefully this is an easy one. So the Division of Ecological Restoration is within the Department of Fish and Game, just to add to the alphabet soup here a little bit. So essentially, this grant amendment is needed to authorize the agreement you just approved. That is per the initial agreement signed between the town and the Division of Ecological Restoration for that grant, which is partial funding for the work at the golf course. There is a requirement that they approve any subawards, which they have so done. And now it requires an amendment to the grant award to allow you to now act on that approved subaward agreement. So that's the primary purpose of this amendment. It just adds that language to the grant agreement. It also shifts some funds that had been earmarked within the grant schedule from the current fiscal year to the next fiscal year. And that is just simply due to project scheduling and the evolution of project scheduling. It doesn't alter the categories of that funding and how they'll be used. It doesn't change any amount of the grant. It just changes the year in which the funds will be spent. Since they weren't all spent in this fiscal year, we won't lose them by moving them to the next fiscal year. So those are the two things the grant amendment achieves, and that's its purpose.
All right, does anyone on the board have any questions?
No.
No. I have none.
So, Mr. Chair, I move that the Select Board accepts and approves Amendment 4 to the Massachusetts Department of Ecological Restoration Grant to the town of Wellfleet for the Herring River Estuary Restoration Project dated November 2nd, 2022, and authorizes the town administrator to execute the amended grant contract.
Actually, the signature page is for the Select Board to sign.
For the administrator and Select Board to execute the amended grant contract.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 4-0 with one recusal.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you, Carol.
you very much.
But don't go anywhere.
There might be one more question. Does this have to do, yeah. Is this
Actually, two more.
C?
So we have item C, which is low-lying roads bid approval award. To approve and award the bid and contract to Niezgoda and Murray Excavating LLC. And,
This is John. John's going to take this.
oh, okay. All right, John?
Real quickly, so this is a notice to award. You are simply, hopefully you had a chance to read the evaluation and the award sheet. The contract will come back to you once it's ready, but this is simply a notice to award the low bid.
Right.
Oh, okay. Now, is this going to require a signature by the board? I don't see a signature page.
No.
No, this is simply a vote to, you are just
Approving the bid.
approving approving what has been done to this point with the idea that this will come back to you for final approval in the form of the final contract.
That's when the signature, yeah.
Okay. All right. Unless there's further discussion, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the low-lying roads bid award approval notice to Niezgoda and Murray, and hopefully I didn't kill that name, my apologies if I did, and Murray Excavating LLC in the amount of $13,251,000 as recommended by Clayton Carlisle, P.E. Engineer of the Record.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Brian, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 4-0 with one recusal. And the last of these items is the Herring River Restoration, to have the Select Board to sign the order of taking for 10 Pheasant Run in Wellfleet.
I can actually fill you in on this. You guys already approved this the last, you just didn't have the Exhibit A, which was the map, which is now in your packet. And I have the signature page in my office that you had already signed, but you wanted to see this first.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So there's no action to be taken, Mr. Chairman.
There's no action to be taken. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But if anybody has any questions on Exhibit A, now would be the time to take them.
Yeah, I
Yep.
do not.
I myself don't have any.
Seems reasonable.
Same. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just want to make sure, if you covered this in the last meeting, that's awesome, but there is a requirement that you actually vote the order of taking, so if you've already done that, that's fine, but if that didn't happen in the last meeting, that should happen now.
I think we should do it.
Well, I would do it just for redundancy, so we're not looking through minutes for the last month.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Select Board sign the order of taking 10 Pheasant Run in Wellfleet, Mass. and send signed to KP Law for filing on the town's behalf.
Second.
Carol, does that satisfy?
That sounds great. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Roll call vote.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Passes 4-0 with one recusal.
Thank you, Carol. I think that's it for all of those, right?
Okay, that's it for the Herring River. Thank you, Carol, very much,
Great.
and thank
you
everybody.
everybody.
Signature. So pass it on.
Tom, Jay, and entire crew.
Did you think I'd do that to you?
No, you never would, even though you should.
Ryan, here you go.
Yeah, oh, which one's this?
It's from 2 motions ago.
Okay. I was like, you don't want to reverse that. That's a nice pen.
I'll take it back.
I'll send you the link. Amazon's finest.
I am aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to our final business item, item E, with our colleague Ryan Curley to discuss and take possible votes on the spraying of herbicides by Eversource to reduce vegetation at certain locations in Wellfleet.
Yeah,
Ryan?
so annually, Eversource sends out a notice to all property owners that are property owners under the right-of-way for the application of herbicides and what some of their other options are. It was sent out in earlier this spring. The comment period for it is closed at this point in time, but Wellfleet does have a policy on the application of herbicides and pesticides to town-owned properties. I don't remember if there's a bylaw or not. Is there a bylaw?
I don't think so, but we were told by Verizon, John Bugby actually spoke to them, and they said that we could actually put this as a warrant article on our Springtown meeting and make it a bylaw so that you wouldn't have to do this every year.
Yeah. So for right now, we've missed the comment period, but we've been submitting letters each time because, you know, obviously there's concerns about the application, particularly of Roundup. So
yeah, glyphosates.
Yeah, glyphosates. There you go. So you know, I guess in the future we should probably look at making it some sort of a bylaw. I know that there's some instances where the application of you know, herbicides is warranted based off of different conditions, particularly if it's something that the DPW might be dealing with invasive species. particularly, so like bittersweet, Oriental bittersweet, the way that you're supposed to handle that is you cut it, and then you apply a little bit right at the top where you cut it, and kill it that way. But the Eversource is more broadcast based spraying. So, yeah.
So,
What would be the thing to do here?
We can't really take an action because the comment period is closed tonight. But yeah, in the future, we can definitely look at, doing it. And the town owns a number of parcels underneath the right-of-way.
Some of the exceptions, like for instance, I've heard of instances where they will apply the glyphosate to the actual cutting.
Yes.
Where they cut the plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of spraying everything.
If there's if it's a bylaw, I think that's things that we might want to think about.
Okay, I'd be open for that. Barbara?
So through the chair, what have we said in comment letters in previous years?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Okay.
But we've had a number of letter submissions.
So can we prevent them from spraying in the way they want to? We just comment and say, we strongly urge you to use manual, whatever you call it, application rather than broadcast. Would that be the kind of thing we would want to say? And then I guess the second question is what would the bylaw have to do with that request? Because that would just be our bylaw that we don't apply it on our own properties, but I guess I'm just trying to see what the relationship is between the bylaw and the comment process.
I think the thought with the bylaw might be so the comment's almost automatic, rather than requiring a letter individually each year. You can refer to the bylaw. I don't know what's the best way.
Okay.
I'm fine either way. But yeah, I definitely don't want this to get lost in the future.
Right. So I think I think even if we have a bylaw, we should still submit the comment letter, particularly if it's pretty much the same thing every year. So I'm glad Ryan brought this up, and so that we can flag it for next year. And if there's a bylaw to be had, we can put that on town meeting.
Just before you go, can we craft a bylaw that would specify something like direct application as opposed to spraying?
I mean, a bylaw you can kind of craft to say whatever you want it to. The issue then becomes, at least in terms of a bylaw, is there's some superseding authority with the application of various pesticides, particularly, as authorized by MDR, and then as allowed by the rights of the holder of the right-of-way easement. But, yeah.
Josh?
Apologies if I'm just getting, lost in the woods here, but what we're saying is even though we routinely object to the use of herbicides, they still do it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And we have absolutely no way of preventing them.
Sometimes they modify what they're going to do. It varies. It really varies. Yeah.
Okay.
Just for information, I mean, I've been through this, and this was a very big, hot political issue.
Sure.
Like in 2012. And, I went through a series of hearings with Department of Fisheries and all of that, and not only is the Massachusetts Department of Environment and Fisheries is such an oversight to this, they helped Eversource actually develop the plan because they didn't want just spraying, but we have to allow them to be able to do this because they have they're under a federal mandate to provide electricity without interference of a tree. So that's what the whole thing is about, the trees falling on the lines. And We can do some things, but and they will modify if that's like not a problem. Like, there was a time they used to let people, don't cut that branch, I'll take care of it, and they did that, and then someone didn't, and then there was a huge blackout, which is now why they're much more stringent about these things. And so there is a whole history to this. In the end, they got to deliver energy. If they will modify, if it's a small area, they can do it. But on the whole, they have a lot more heft behind them than our bylaw, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they can do like mechanical removal.
Yeah.
It's just the prevention of, basically it growing to a certain amount. So.
But just to be clear,
I'm sorry.
just one last clarifying question. Apologies, it's my first time around the sun with this.
Like, we all get the answer to these things, but anyway, just giving you my experience.
So even if we were to pass a bylaw, it would have very little force and effect because there's a superseding state law that allows them to do so. So it would be, it's a feel-good bylaw, is essentially what we're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
through the chair, I would think it's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's symbolic.
Well, it's making a
It's
statement.
symbolic, it's,
But-
its impact, I wouldn't say feel good.
I mean, if we target it for just like town-owned property, that's a little bit more, because then we have property rights to the property. But if it's basically, we have one on this fall town meeting warrant that's a home rule petition to regulate the application of fertilizer. Previously, we had one that was the application of pesticide. Basically, MDR supersedes the abilities of towns to regulate those, so that's why a home rule petition was filed. But if it's specific to town-owned property, then we have a larger degree of rights associated with it.
So it could have some force and effect on their decision-making, is what we're saying.
It could, but the town might have to, I don't know, it would vary.
Might have to limit the scope of.
Well, the town might also have to take some sort of responsibility.
Okay.
So.
Tom had something.
I just wanted to, there is a town in central Mass that kind of is like the leader on this. It goes back decades, the town of Wendell. Let me see what they did, because I know a person named Nina Keller, God rest her soul, was absolutely instrumental with getting, at that time, Western Mass Electric, Eversource, to stop broadcast spraying and start selective cutting and discriminate, not indiscriminate, and discriminate selective application.
I mean, they've definitely become more selective than they were in the past, largely because of the pushback locally.
And I hope the board doesn't take my comments as in any way supporting the use of Roundup. I'm just genuinely curious as to what powers we have
I agree
in
with
this,
you.
in this matter.
I'm not saying I support it either, but I am also realistic and pragmatic in
Sure.
what's going to be able to become of it, but.
But that kind of gentle
It's always good to
pressure
have a
has
statement.
moved them away from
It can,
Great.
broadcast spraying.
they might say, like, we'd want to go there and start, making the natives restless or something, so we'll go do something else. Anyway,
So this doesn't require any action.
no, but we will keep an eye on it as it comes forward next year.
All right, moving along then to select board reports. I do not have one. Does anyone else?
Town meetings tomorrow.
Tomorrow is town meeting, and I do want to just report to the board that I did meet with Beth Piles we have to do our local comprehensive plan. And so we met to see how we want to proceed. We wanted to get there was a complete one done in 2008. There was a partial one done, I think, 2018. And Suzanne Grau-Thomas has most of those records, and of course, they're not electronic, so she's pulling those together, and she's found them. And we have a meeting scheduled for next week to get together, and then we'll be presenting how we want to go forward and who we want to have on this, and anything you have to say about it, we'll take into consideration. No, I will just report to you what we're doing, but I just want to let you know that process has started. And Also, I did go to a discussion that was held at Preservation Hall. Hoffer, what was her first name? It begins with an M. Melissa Hoffer from the Department of Environment. She's like in another division of that. I wanted to hear stories of climate. Have we had, does anybody have stories of impacts from climate change? And it was really a very interesting panel. And what I will say is everything we do and all the planning we do, we now really have to think about what, instead of just the obstacles that are the usual obstacles that we have, like, there are funding, or can we go through that road, or can we do this? What will happen here? What is the likelihood that climate change, the changes that we're seeing, are going to increase and impact that? So, like a building, or what have you. But it was amazing to see, there was a builder from Cape Associates, he's been building here for 40 years, and he had very interesting things to say, and also a Bill Amaru. Is anybody familiar with this man? He is a fisherman out of Chatham. He's also on state boards representing, with the Department of, and he was really pretty amazing about the changes in the fishing industry and the decline, not just from overfishing, but everything is moving north, and now they're seeing all these different fish that we've never had here before. And it was really, they did tape that, I believe, and if I can access that, I'll share it. But it was quite a conversation, and something we should all really be thinking about, because it is here. It's not coming, it's here. So anyway, that was very interesting, and that's my little report.
Could you send that link to me?
I believe I did. I sent that out, and it was all over that conversation. I mean, even Denny sent it to everyone. This is,
I'll go through my emails.
Yeah,
and
there was a lot of talk about
it.
that. It came first through, how did it come through? To share this with your boards, and it was shared with the boards, and then the board shared it with others, and then there was other people there.
Okay. Barbara?
Yeah, this is more in the nature of an announcement, but I'll put it here, which is just a reminder that there will be on November 3rd, from 6 to 7:30 at the Wellfleet Elementary School, there'll be an outreach event by the Efficiency and Regionalization Project, and I'm hoping to maybe give out some flyers tomorrow night at town meeting just to publicize this, because we really do want to get town input, because, this will affect decisions that are made.
So could you say that again, Barbara? It's November 3rd?
November 3rd in the cafeteria, 6 to 7:30. Also taking place at the Nauset Middle School cafeteria the same night, in case people are closer to there, but.
And this is a shared regionalization?
It's, the name of the grant was obtained for an efficiency and regionalization study pertaining to the elementary schools.
Oh, that's right.
So this part of the process is obtaining input from the communities, and they want to hear about what this event is. The question that will be asked and that participants will be asked to work on is what makes a thriving school. So it's an exercise, public outreach type exercise, but I think it's an opportunity for input.
Especially from parents and.
From parents, exactly.
Okay.
So.
I forgot an announcement.
Anyway,
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
And we should be having it until it closes, is that the Lawrenceville is accepting applications. I forget when the lottery closes. I'd have to look it up. But people should be aware of it until it closes.
I think it's on the website.
Okay.
Josh?
Josh?
Communication?
Two short ones, then correspondence. just want to say that Oyster Fest was fantastic this year, and,
Yeah, it was.
you know, tremendous thank you to the Wellfleet Oyster Alliance for putting it on.
And not an
It's great to see
incident,
the town come out. So that's one. And two is, I met with Mr. Conroy from the Finance Committee again. We had a really substantive conversation. We're pretty much there, and we'll be ready to write our report and send it back to our respective boards for their comment. We would need to meet with the town administrator before we kind of, you know, dot the i's and cross the t's. But just again, Mr. Conroy has been a terrific partner in getting to where we need to go. It is substantially less loquacious than the version we saw a few weeks ago, I will say that. And with that, Mr. Chair, and anyone else's announcement, I'll get to correspondence.
Does anyone else have a select board report? Seeing none, go ahead.
All right, this is a short one this week. So this is correspondence from October 8th to October 21st. We received various administrative correspondences from our executive assistant and our town administrator regarding scheduling and the various documents for those meetings. Through the TA, we received a letter from Bob Wagner that he's stepping back from the home consortium so that our housing coordinator can take their place. Through the TA, we received a memo from GHD Engineering with a preliminary analysis of a primarily sewer approach to meet our town's TMDL. Member Curley shared a 2009 DLS report on our marina. We received a notice of hearing scheduled for October 27th from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock with regards to an act authorizing the town of Wellfleet to enact a pesticide reduction bylaw. Through the TA, we received a report from the MMA entitled "The Perfect Storm: Cities and Towns Face Historic Financial Pressures." Member Curley shared an update from POA Communities that they've decided to allow pets at Lawrence Hill. We've received notice that the Open Space Committee completed its meeting to review and vote on Articles 7 and 8 of the town warrant. We received an inquiry from a member of the public regarding where the proposed sewer may be. We received various updates regarding the nor'easter from the town administrator. We received notice from the Massachusetts Governor's Office of Climate Innovation and Resilience. They were holding a meeting at Preservation Hall. A member of the public shared a Boston Globe article about septic policy with the board. Received a letter from a member of the public requesting that the town look into cutting back brush, widening the street, and adding more signage along a portion of Jaquesset Neck Road. We received a letter requesting an exemption to be able to purchase a memorial bench to dedicate to their late husband. We received Mr. Nardell's entertainment programs that the board requested after their interview to be appointed to the Wellfleet Cultural Council. We received Exhibit A of the Pheasant Row taking matter. We received the final appraisal for the Williams Pond property. I sent a letter to the board that I may be absent from our November 4th meeting, still TBD. We received a draft regional school agreement. Member Curley sent us a reminder that the comment period for the draft seasonal communities regulations closes on October 31st. We received notice of a new Board of Health regulations. Received a recap from the fire chief regarding Oyster Fest. Member Curley informed us that it might be late to a meeting. Member Curley shared an example of how they're using technology to transcribe Maurice's Campground Planning Committee meetings. We received a letter from a member of the public asking questions regarding to Article 10 on the warrant of tomorrow's town meeting. We received a note from the moderator regarding questions that came up during the Wellfleet Forum last night about town meeting. We received an update from the town administrator regarding a workman's comp concern. We received a draft 2025 technical bullet. We received notice that the draft 2025 technical bulletins are available for public comment through the Cape Cod Commission. And finally, we received notice the public is invited to review Cape Cod, I did this twice. Those technical bulletins and subsequent public comments may be made by Monday, October 27th, 2025.
Thank you. Tom, Town Administrator's report?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Not even an ice machine report?
No, not this evening, Mr. Chairman.
That was a type of week.
There, as I understand, actually is nothing new to report there right now.
Right.
So,
Beyond minutes.
yeah, I
know.
I've got it under control. Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm just reminding the board that I'll be in Holyoke at a training later this week.
Okay.
I'm breaking into your office while you're not there.
Huh?
I'm breaking into your office while you're not there.
Yeah, I will leave the computer password open
I'll
for
fight
you.
Rebecca to get through the door.
Actually, before,
I'll fix your internet.
before minutes, we have topics for future discussion. Does anybody have anything?
Not tonight.
Okay.
We've got a lot on our plate.
Well, this is what I have in front of me. so-
No, it wasn't meant that way. It's just more exhaustion and that we have another meeting tomorrow night.
I know.
5:30.
5:30 and then town meeting. So, okay, we're up to minutes.
I have one amendment, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask the board, and I know this is out of order, you did receive a memorandum that I forwarded to you from Katie Klein, Attorney Katie Klein, excuse me, relative to two of the articles at the town meeting.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to be acting on tomorrow at 5:30.
Right, I got that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody reviews those before we get there.
Okay.
Thank you. And just as a formality, as it was privileged communications, they don't go into the correspondence report, but I did receive them.
No, that's true too, yeah, but I do want, thank you, yeah.
Okay, we just have the minutes of October 7th. And you had an amendment?
I did have an amendment, and I appreciate that Mr. Sayre is in the audience. And on page 3 of the minutes, it says, Yeston asked if there was a scenario where that Sayre could support the dredging. I went back and reviewed the video, and what I said was, is there a scenario that Sayre could support the Army Corps of Engineer oversight?
Thank you.
So replace the dredging with support Army Corps of Engineers oversight, please.
Got it.
Okay, and I don't see,
Yeah, through the chair, this may not be necessary, but to the extent that the comments of other members are cited here, I believe I had some comments, some favorable comments on Mr. Sayre's service. So possibly could that just be added since the comments from the others are included as well?
all right. So those are two amendments. And I don't see any for myself. So, anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the meeting minutes of October 7th, 2025 as amended.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Barbara, aye.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John, aye. Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Barbara, aye.
Ryan, aye.
Sheila, aye.
Josh, aye.
And John,